Family is furious. The tweet in question refers to me as a Trump operative. I do not work for the Trump campaign. I've never received any money from the Trump campaign or Trump PACs. We have received no outside investment for this show for anything related to Timcast Media Group.
They're a person who works towards achieving the objectives of a larger interest. D. A Merriam-Webster's dictionary. So this was posted August 31st, 2024. Kamala HQ says Trump operatives say their Project 2025 plan is to give Trump total unchecked legal powers so they can jail and execute those who don't support Trump if he wins. They've since scrubbed this video from YouTube.
Should Democrats be in jail? No question. When Donald Trump gets elected, should he start locking them up? No question. Should there be lists of Democrats that need to go to jail? 100%. And the reason for that is they've committed crimes. We need to make sure that when Donald Trump wins, we've got an attorney general, a deputy attorney general, a head of the CIA and the FBI. Kash Patel would be fantastic. We can have attorney general. There's some names floating around. And then they can start having their investigators and the feds issuing subpoenas, pulling up evidence, and with real evidence, bring them to judges for warrants. Then these people can spend three years of their lives fighting tooth and nail for the crime against the government for crimes they committed, and we can prove. Yeah. And the reason why we put them on trial is that we can show the whole world we will uncover what you've done. We will make sure everyone knows, and you will be held accountable for it.
Not just jail, they should get the death penalty. You know, we actually used to have the punishment for treason in this country.
Now, the reason it got cut there is that Tim Pool has kind of a murder problem in that, like, he brings on a lot of guests who keep calling for direct action against either politicians or people who are in opposition to them politically. And yeah, he's, I'm sure, gotten warnings from YouTube. You cannot call for direct violence or, you know, specifically name someone and then say they should be pushed out of a moving plane and stuff like that. But his guests keep doing it. And so, you know, he's had those meltdowns before where he's like, I don't know why this keeps happening, no matter how many times I tell all of you that when we're live on YouTube, you can't threaten people, all right? You have to wait till our after-hour show to do that. Well, no, he didn't say that, but, like, that's the idea. He's got his own show on the Timcast network that plays after the show everyone gets to see on YouTube, and then it's like a lot of people do that. They try to promote their after-hour show where they get a lot more direct subs and stuff for people to gain access to it, and there you can be a little bit more, especially when it's on Rumble or those other networks, a little more fast and loose with your death threats and stuff like that. But apparently, this was, I guess, enough of a disingenuous statement, which is still up, by the way. I checked, this is from today, it's still up there, to warrant a lawsuit. We now have Tim Pool announces legal action against Kamala Harris and the Democrats.
Over the weekend, Labor Day, immediately I contacted my legal team and furious. My family is furious. The tweet in question refers to me as a Trump operative. I do not work for the Trump campaign. I've never received any money from the Trump campaign or Trump PACs. We have received no outside investment for this show for anything related to Timcast Media Group. We received no outside.
I was going to guess this. I immediately was like, what part of it is he going to use for the lawsuit? Because ultimately, I mean, it's just video footage of him and his guest, Laura Loomer, talking. So how are they in any way, shape, or form going to say that this is defamatory when it's just like a clip of them? I was like, well, it's going to have to be on how they presented it, right? It's going to have to be the words at the very top of the clip. And that's probably going to be the one, Trump Operative. So right there, the word operative is what he's going to use to be like, I have never worked for the Trump campaign. I've not received money for the Trump campaign. Neither did Laura Loomer. We are not literal Trump operatives. We simply, donate to his campaign and advocate typically in favor of him or his policies on our shows, and then tell people to go vote for him, and then also bring on a lot of people from his team and his own campaign members to come on our shows to talk about that kind of stuff. I would say like a lot of things that probably when we're going to look at this, because like the burden of proof, if you are suing for defamation, is going to be quite high on your end, right? To show that they knowingly with intent were maliciously trying to damage or destroy your character. And of course, all the things that like a lot of people are expecting to come from this are going to be like, well, does this mean we get discovery? He's going to follow through on this. I also, you never know what's true with Tim, because like the fact that we have testimony from an actual lawyer, the one who was defending the families of the mass shooting from the defamation of Alex Jones and was suing them in civil court. He has subsequently been involved in another lawsuit that Tim Pool's been sued in for, once again, providing false information and known falsified information to the detriment of someone's own life, which was falsely accusing someone of being a mass shooter when they weren't. He said that every person from like Steven Crowder to the other people and pundits he had called, I only spoke to the legal teams, except for Tim. Tim was the only exception to that, in that I contacted him and I made him fully aware that if you'd like to, you can have a lawyer represent you and speak to me right now. And he wanted to just represent himself, or just at least not have outside legal representation and speak to him directly.
Side investment. It's all been funded from the ground up from the start of my original podcast, youtube.com/Timcast, as well as my personal savings. The tweet goes on to say that I have a Project 2025 plan. I am in no way associated with Project 2025, though I've interviewed some of the people who are associated with Project 2025 and have been involved. Timcast is not, has not, and will not.
Again, it'd be really fun to contact a lawyer about all this, just to see like how like nothing burger of a case they have. But I mean, just look at Webster's dictionary defines operative adjective as producing an appropriate effect, known as the operative techniques, most significant or essential, the operative word in a phrase, exerting force or influence, operating, an operative statute, having to do physical operations as a machines, operative skills, working, an operative craftsman, based on the consistency of an operation, operative dentistry, the disease may require operative treatment. Other shorter versions of a secret agent, an artisan, mechanic, private investigator, person who works towards achieving the objectives of a larger interest. D. A Merriam-Webster's dictionary. I think legally, within the bounds of the English language, if you are someone who is consistently promoting Donald Trump, consistently vilifying Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or their campaign or the Democrats, trying to get Donald Trump elected, saying that you're going to vote for Donald Trump, saying you're donating money to Donald Trump's campaign, bringing on people who work on Donald Trump's campaign, or bringing on other people promoting Donald Trump's campaign to once again promote Donald Trump, all of that would probably fall within the bounds of a person who works towards achieving the objectives of a larger interest. Not a lawyer. Just gonna be honest, this is not legal advice. This is not legal anything. More just the very first thing I looked up, which would probably be kind of like, universally understood, the Merriam-Webster's dictionary definition of it. Well, operative, the D, right there. I would contest that you do fall under that.
Be a part of or in any way related to Project 2025. Nor have I ever called for anyone to have unchecked legal authority. And I will stress this because this is the most shockingly offensive part of what they said. And I'm jumping right to it right away so I don't waste your time because I have a lot to talk about. I am opposed to the death penalty in all circumstances. I have argued against the death penalty in
He's getting so mad.
every circumstance. I do.
So what if they were referring to Laura Loomer? Because then once again, you're kind of getting the rug pull for all your cases here. It's like, well, has Laura Loomer called for the death penalty across from you live on your show? Have multiple guests that you've had on your show call for the death penalty or to have someone killed or pushed out of an airplane? Yes, live on your show. Has it become such a problem that you frequently complain about it? Where you're like, I don't know why people keep coming on the show and talking about killing people when I tell them you can't do that. All right, we're on YouTube.
Not trust the government to decide who gets to live and die, and I will never support the death penalty or any type of executions. For that matter, the clip in question posted by the Kamala campaign was literally me arguing against the idea of the death penalty, telling Laura Loomer that she was wrong. These individuals did not commit treason, more likely sedition, but there is a lot to break down in exactly what this post is. And so I just wanted to make sure I started immediately by addressing what we are doing. So I will stress one more time. I have engaged legal counsel. There's only so much you can do over Labor Day weekend. Had it been during the week, we would have probably filed in the immediate, but hopefully by today, I can give you an update. My intention is to immediately file a lawsuit and approach every legally correct avenue to do that. And so I will stress one more time. So far, I've contacted my legal counsel. We have discussed the issue at length. We intend to file a lawsuit. The reason why I say intend is I'm not exactly sure. I'm not a lawyer myself. All I can do is inform you that we have begun this process, and I fully intend to see it taken to this degree. And so
Now, I know a lot of people have watched Better Call Saul, or maybe, Lionel Hutz on The Simpsons, and you get this idea that there are just certain kinds of lawyers who, by their very definition, are like gangsters and criminals themselves, and basically will just do whatever it takes. They don't care if their clients are committing crimes. They just tell their clients, here's how you get away with your crimes. And I'm not saying that lawyers like that don't exist, of course. They're not a monolith. There's good lawyers, there's bad lawyers, and there's corrupt lawyers, and there's criminal lawyers who are actual criminals. Yes, that's all par for the course. But if you have Tim Pool cash, which is a lot of fucking money, you can hire an excellent legal team. And an excellent legal team will most likely sit you down and then tell you about the odds of you winning your case. If we go down this road, we can. There are several pathways before us. If we're going to get litigious, we can sue them, but then keep in mind, because they have a lot of money, a lot of capital themselves, there's very, very low chances of them simply doing a buyout. And in this case, we don't feel that you have a strong case in terms of if it went forward and got all the way to going in front of a judge, that they would rule in your favor, specifically because the bar is very high for you to prove that they are knowingly and maliciously with intent trying to defame you and your character. And also, if we were to play the video in full, or to look at, say, the entirety of your catalog, it does seem within this specific definition of what an operative is, that you would fall underneath it. So someone could say that without the intent of defaming you. Because again, within the Merriam-Webster's dictionary does kind of fit you, like a lot. So, but it's up to you. You can spend lots of money. This can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. They could counter sue you after the fact as well. So there's a risk of that. But just so you know, these are your options. That's what's before you. And so at that point, I mean, nothing happens at all if you say, I intend to file a lawsuit, which is what he's doing right now, right? He's not saying, hey, we filed a lawsuit. Hey, we're going for full defamation. Hey, this is what's happening. It's that I've spoken to a legal team. And, there's only so much we could do, obviously, because it was a holiday. But even then, I was able to get to my lawyers and speak to them. And then they were able to speak to me. And we're going to pursue this. That's what I'm telling you.
I'm going to break down the structure.
Yeah, I declare lawsuit.
Lapse with my work. And I have no choice but to issue an immediate rebuttal at first opportunity due to this being a threat to our show, to my personal safety, to the safety of my staff, to my friends and family. It is shockingly beyond irresponsible. It is malicious and negligent to claim.
What is? Sorry, what part? What part is directly targeting your family?
That I have called for the execution of people who don't support Trump. That is psychotic. Not only have I challenged the death penalty on hundreds of my show at every opportunity I have to claim.
Again, not a lawyer. I don't think this is going to stand up in court, because this is a very vague statement on their part too. Like, they could state simply that it's Laura Loomer who's called for the death penalty. They didn't even name you by name. It doesn't say Tim Pool, who works directly for the Trump campaign, in a video describing Project 2025, then called for death of his political opponents. It doesn't say that at all.
That I would call for political executions is.
When he's used the word never, when talking about the times when he called for violence against people, and there's video evidence showing Tim Pool has called for violence more than once, Tim Pool will automatically lose, and any and all lawsuits he throws, any and all lawsuits aimed at him will be an automatic victory. Again, it is because he used the word never.
Just so shockingly egregious.
That's kind of interesting, because he's really bad about that. He's really bad about getting super offended, especially when people like call him out on his takes or shit, and then saying like, I've never done that, or that doesn't happen, or prove it, or yeah, okay, when, give me any evidence of it, right? Never say never.
To accuse me of criminal and extremist ideology and actions is just absolutely insane and cannot be tolerated. Cannot be tolerated in the least bit. But I will play for you the clip. The 1 minute out of context clip that currently has 11.5 million views and growing. I will play for you the clip so you can hear it, and then I will break down exactly how this story emerges and provide you the full context.
I've already shown you the clip, so I can show you a different one. Tim Pool is shocked that the guests he has on his show keep calling for violence.
I think it's only fair that I don't take the heat for what you said, Jesse, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm getting people attacking my character now for having had to take the show down because you made 2 allusions to killing people. So I'm not trying to be a dick right now, but like I've got 500 messages of like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you taking the show down? Are you fucking with us? You're trying to make money.
So I thought YouTube took the show down.
No, I had to take the show down.
Okay.
I had to take the show down because you made 2 allusions within like the span of a couple minutes to murdering people.
Okay.
After I explicitly stated in the pre-show, do not make allusions to violence. Okay. Then went on to explain.
See, you know what's wild is this has never happened to me. I've had hundreds and hundreds of guests on my show. I've never had to worry about that. I've never sit there like just thinking like, hey, by the way, you know, at any given time, if this happens, I just got to shut the stream down because, you know, people just keep calling for the death of my political enemies.
We keep having people come here and saying they want people killed or people should kill people or they can be killed or things like that. 18 minutes into the show, you had made 2 allusions to, one was the helicopter thrown over the Pacific Ocean. That's kind of like a... fuck, we're gonna get hit for that probably, but you know, we'll see what happens. But then you said you can go kill the human smugglers for all I care, and it's just like that's it. Like, it's not a YouTube thing. It's Rumble would take us down for this. I've had the conversations with Rumble about it, and so it's a question of, for the people who are right now, who are slamming me, claiming that it's a big news day, and I intentionally took the show down for fake reasons to make money. No matter what platform we're on, that show.
I love how he always makes it about himself too. A lot of people are getting mad at me because they think I should like took the show down or I like self-censored, and you know we're not supposed to ever censor because we're free speech super warriors. So obviously they're like upset at me, but like they don't understand that it's because of you, because like you keep saying like you want to kill people and stuff like that, and I keep telling you not to do it, but you won't stop, and like it just sucks because everyone's mad at me now.
Show would be removed,
okay,
and we would face legal liability. And so the question is, can we have a show if we persist? That show would be deleted, and that would be the end of it.
Okay.
So all I can do is say, okay, well, that's it. You know, like I tried.
And he doesn't want to seem soy either, right? Like, there was that time when he brought on Ye, and then obviously he's just going off with Nick Fuentes, and they're just doing all this anti-Semitic racist garbage. And then Tim was not directly calling it out. He certainly wasn't like, well, that's a very, very racist thing to both say and state. And so I have to say that I profoundly disagree with the way you guys are trying to imply that Jewish people control all the media, and they manipulate us all, and they're all puppet mouth. Like, all that kind of stuff is not... He was just saying, like, well, I don't really fully believe what you guys believe, right? He's like, I'm not into identitarianism. Yeah, I don't like identitarian, which is what he always reverts to when his guests are being, like, he brings on a lot of white supremacists, so whenever they're being super extreme, he'll just kind of do that, or pivot to something completely unrelated, like, hey, have you guys seen the new Spider-Man, or something like that. But ultimately, like, when it comes down to it, for this seems to be a documented problem that you have. Multiple guests have, on your show, called for death, and that's when, yes, you pull the ripcord, right? You might be doing it because you don't have to deal with the fallout, you might be doing it because you are worried about losing revenue on Rumble, although I'm really, really hard-pressed to think that Rumble would be fine with half the shit they're okay with, but they'd actually go after you because Laura Loomer was being Laura Loomer, like she always is. Like, I'm pretty sure Rumble. YouTube, I'll believe it. YouTube, definitely. I would understand that YouTube, most likely, if you have guests on there who are calling for direct violence or that they're going to commit violence against a specific individual, that they would remove your, episode for extremism or something like that. Yeah, probably a thing that could happen. But also, what about not inviting monsters? Is that an option? Can you just not invite monsters on your show who say monstrous things? I would assume that would be the easiest fix to this problem, rather than having to just constantly be on edge, or do I have to push the button, or who knows if someone's going to do a death threat on my show. Just stop inviting monsters. You just put a moratorium on monsters.
We will allow that on our show, on iTunes, Spotify, Rumble, and all other podcast platforms. The show was scrubbed because I don't agree with Laura Loomer. Now, there's an interesting point to be made, especially. I can't speak for Loomer. What I can say is Laura Loomer in the show, in this clip, did not call for Trump to bring on authorities, to arrest people, or do anything like that. She simply added that the penalty for treason is death. And the reason why the show was scrubbed is that I personally do not appreciate that rhetoric. We don't allow that on our show. It goes, they can start having their investigators and the feds issuing subpoenas, pulling up evidence, and with real evidence, bring them to judges for warrants. Then these people can spend three years of their lives fighting tooth and nail for the crime against the government for crimes they committed, and we can prove.
Yeah.
And the reason why we put them on trial is that we can show the whole world we will uncover what you've done. We will make sure everyone knows, and you will be held accountable for it.
Not just jail, they should get the death penalty. You know, we actually
And he's even laughing right now. That's not what she was saying. She first says, not just jail, they should be killed. And then after that adds, you know, the punishment for treason used to be the death penalty. The two separate statements. You got Loomered.
used to have the punishment for treason in this country.
And the show ends. Now, allow that on our show. It goes too far, in my opinion.
Appropriation for identifying as men who identify as women. Sounds like the perfect Tim Pool story, but I guess that's all the deets that we have on the lawsuit. I don't know if there's anything more that he's put on his own. Let's see if there's anything in his Twitter about it outside of the lawsuit itself. He's posted this video. Tim Pool announces legal action against Kamala Harris' Democrat campaign for defamation, which of course is getting tons of likes, which is, I think, content. I think the whole thing is just content so far.
Hey, if you'd like to unlock secret bonus episodes as well as uncensored content, go to patreon.com/The Serfs. This show is produced by Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Puppy, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Travis McClinton, Trincell, Words Greenwood. With additional support coming from all of these amazing human beings right here.